Coming to you live from the bush, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and I've got nothing. Like, there's nothing. So, stuck with me in the middle of nowhere this week. First, why are desert lions so popular around Christmas, Chris?
I don't know why.
They have sandy claws.
Hey!
And Andy, on
Oh,
which
God.
day do lions eat the most?
Nope, not going in.
Tuesday.
Tuesday stuck in my head. I was like, I can't make it into a pun though.
We are the 10 Point Podcast. We bring you lion-based jokes by the week, and that's all we bring you. We do film, TV, mainly film reviews. You can find us 10pointpodcast.com. Hit us up there. Hit us up on social media, Facebook, Twitter. Just search 10 Point Podcast to find us there too. You're obviously hearing us through your podcast
Ears.
app of choice.
Coming in your ears.
Your ears, yes.
Coming in your ears.
And you can find us every single place you can get podcasts in the world. You can find us on YouTube, video versions of the same thing exactly, because it's all recorded live, as I said at the beginning.
One take. We
You
don't
never-
edit the shit.
Never miss a second of what we do on the podcast. Spotify, you can double up. We have both audio and video versions of the podcast over there. Just Google 10 Point Podcast and we will show up one way or another. Give us likes and subscribes and comments and reviews.
Beers, money,
Everything like that.
no nudes.
We don't want it, no. So, before we get on to the podcast this week, what was your highlight of the week? Now, I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and so did Andy. So, Andy, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Hi. It's definitely a film.
It's a film.
Right.
It lasted 2 hours.
Right. Let's try not to super spoiler it, because I know some people have not watched it. What I would say is I was enjoying it. I've enjoyed it pretty much throughout. CGI is a lot of it, not horrendous. But a lot of
It
people
didn't bother me. Everyone was like, "Oh, there's so much CGI." I'm like,
there's
it's fine.
there's one guy. Let's talk about him. MODOK. That's a bit shit.
Again, I
But-
have zero connection to MODOK whatsoever prior to
Yeah.
this film, so therefore I'm just like, "Oh, he's just a bit funny looking."
Well,
to
it was
me.
still a bit fun.
Yeah.
However, this film, for whatever score is about to give it, I would say it would lose instantly 9 points because it's missing one character.
Oh yeah.
So-
I was thinking it as well.
I was just like, post credits, here he comes. Right there. It's not even in that. What the fuck? I literally enraged me more than it should have, I think.
Yes.
We even made an award after him in this podcast, and he's not even in the fucker.
It's not a spoiler that Michael Pena as Luis is not in
right.
Ant-Man whatsoever.
Not even a bit.
Even
But his
David
mate gets a cameo.
Dalmachian, who plays like second pal in the other ones, the weird guy, he voices one of the animated characters.
Two.
He's 2 of them, does he?
2 of them. There's
Right,
2
okay.
characters he plays.
He voices 2 of them, whereas Luis completely
Yeah.
cut out. No great story for him to tell. The first Ant-Man movie to come out, I think, since we started doing the podcast, and Michael Pena doesn't get to.
And genuinely, like, the start of the film starts off with a massive monologue, which would be Michael Pena right up.
Could not just be Michael Pena reading the same thing as what we revealed.
100% is all it needed. He could have just put a tiny little bit in, then not used them. I get why he's not in it,
Yeah.
but you could have put him in that spot, and it would have been fine.
Again,
Then
maybe
the rest of it, fine.
they didn't want to pay him however much Marvel money he was wanting
Yeah.
to be in one scene, maybe.
But my biggest thing of the film is, like I said, I enjoyed it all the way. I was worried that they weren't going to move on the story too much. They didn't move on the story too much. So I'm kind of like, yeah, they really need to pick up the pace in this Marvel Phase 5 big time.
It's its own little story where I had watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second Ant-Man film, because I'd basically forgotten about it. And also, somewhere on the line, I'd been led to believe that Ghost from the second Ant-Man was in this as well. Which
That's just you.
is right now, I'm like, I've just realised that she wasn't in it. And I'm like, oh, God, I thought she was going to return in this. So I don't know
No,
where.
she's in the Thunderbolts or
She's in
whatever.
something, yeah. I knew she was
Yeah.
coming back, but I thought she was in this. Surprisingly funny. I like finding myself actually laughing at what was happening on the screen. I'm like, oh, this is not just like, but actually finding bits funny was really good. I thought that the new girl playing Cassie was really good.
Yeah.
She's
No complaints.
in other things, so she's actually quite entertaining. I would want to see her in other things. And well, Kang is Kang. I don't quite get the Jonathan Majors hype that absolutely everybody else is like. He is the greatest thing that's ever happened to cinema at the moment. Which he's okay. I can see it, and yes, they haven't just given this total jobber villain for somebody to beat. Like he's actually got a bit of something. And then, like Andy says, it basically starts the next phase. It doesn't move on anything. It's basically the start of it. So
I think the biggest problem I have with this is obviously Loki kind of introduces like Kang, and this film was very much made for people that didn't watch Loki.
I think so. Yeah.
It was very much, you've not watched the series. We need to introduce the new big bad. Here's the big bad. Here's what he's about. But it's like if you watch Loki, you know what he's about.
Yeah.
So for this film, it was just kind of reinsertifying what we kind of already know. But I didn't hate it. I just, it was all right. It was definitely better than what Marvel pumped out recently, i.e. Black Panther and Multiverse of Madness.
I want to watch Multiverse of Madness again. I feel like that needs another viewing to kind of get my head straight on it. But yeah, I certainly enjoyed this more than I have done most of the Marvel stuff recently. Probably the last thing I enjoyed this much might have been Hawkeye, but I think I enjoyed that more than the average person did. I actually quite like Hawkeye. So, yeah, I would give it a thumb up, but I wouldn't go too mental on it for the new Ant-Man movie. I've said, Andy, Chris, what have you watched in the last week? Since I'm assuming it wasn't Ant-Man.
Sweet.
No, I actually watched the film. I watched Black Adam.
Oh.
The hype's all right. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece of a film, but it's probably one of The Rock's better films.
It got panned, and I think Andy and I both said
I liked it.
Didn't deserve it. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
I like a hero film where if a hero can rip your arm off and throw you away, I want to see that. And that's what he does. Yeah. He's a violent superhero.
But like every single one of those people in that film, I didn't hate. Like even what Atom Smasher and Dr. Fate.
No, I liked Atom Smasher.
All of them were brilliant. They all had their own part. Even Hawkman.
Yeah, I quite liked him in the way he was just every turn was just getting bettered by everybody, and I quite enjoyed that.
Normally, there's always a superhero movie where you hate one person. Where like Black Adam, I was like, no, I'm all for this.
And the humans were
Mark Ruffalo needs to have a wee word with Atom Smasher's mum, because he is a spitting image of him, is he not?
Yeah, that's a good show. Yeah.
But the only thing, person I hate was that wee kid. He was just annoying.
I can't remember the movie.
We hate kids in this podcast.
We do. I'm very much down on kids. So is that your highlight of the week then?
Thumbs up, yeah. I thought it's got a false ending though. I thought when it's been out long enough I can spoil a little bit. When he gets imprisoned, I thought, fucking hell, this is cut a bit short, is it not?
That's what I like. I genuinely watched that and I was just like, that's about the right time to finish, but fucking what a shit ending.
I was just like, this is like an anti-ending with the person with the crown. Nothing happens with the crown. It was like, he's captured, crown's been dealt with. What we got to do for the next fucking half hour? And then it all kicks off again. So it's a good film. I'd suggest watching that if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think that if we were doing that film on the podcast, that would be the one thing for me. Would be like, oh yeah, remember where I thought I'd ended 20 minutes before the end. That might be the one thing.
Oh, the cameo at the end. Yeah, that was just worth it.
That was a good cameo. Yeah,
it's cameo. Pointless now.
It's quite relevant. Okay, right. We better crack on with the podcast this week. Point number 1 on the 10-point podcast is, what's the point? The point is the 2022 action adventure drama horror thriller. IMDb never letting us down again there by just Beast
documentary comedy.
Beast, one word only. Written by story Jamie Premack Sullivan, and nothing else really to talk of with her, and the screenplay by Ryan Engel, who wrote Rampage. Speaking of The Rock, the one where he is in another video game.
This guy niched into just doing animal movies.
Must have an association with them. Directed by Baltazar Komakur.
What a name!
That is,
exactly. Most famous for directing Two Guns, the Mark Wahlberg, Denzel Washington.
I love that film. That's good.
Yeah, better than it should have been. One of those ones. Again, not much else going for that. Starring as Nate or Dr. Nate, depending on which part of the film it was, Idris Elba. Famous for being in The Wire, the Thor movies, and the greater MCU, Pacific Rim, Luther, which has got a film coming out, Luther. And then in The Jungle Book, he played Shere Khan. So he has played a tiger in the past, has Idris Elba, but I don't know if he's played a lion before. And then the other star...
Oh, no. He had his froze every time. Go back.
Just at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm back now. Oh, okay. Then I get to Martin, by Sharlto Copley, podcast
Yeah.
favourite. Famous for being Vicus in District 9. Then he was in the A-Team and in Elysium, and then really hasn't done a hell of a lot since. He had a
Beast.
peak. I know he's in Beast, exactly. So there are our main 2 stars, with not many others. There's only about 20 people in the film, and a lot of them get killed before they even say anything. So, on a budget of $36 million, it opened in the US for $11.5 million. Final US gross, $32 million. Final worldwide, $59 million. So that's a good $20 million more than its budget. I do remember this being advertised a lot. So
It was everywhere, this film.
So it probably
and I remember the advertisement put me right off of it, and I didn't bother going and watch it in the cinema.
I mean, what the adverts made me think it was is what it actually is, to be honest.
Yep.
But in the viewing, like when you actually watch it, it's maybe a bit better than how it made out at that point. So yeah, probably lost money. So I think we'll get a Beast 2. Released in the United States on the 19th of August last year, 2022, and a week later in the United Kingdom on the 26th of August, 2022. Meant that it was eligible for our current award season, 2023. No Oscar nominations and no Razzie nominations, unfortunately. It's been shut out of those. As far as the Saturn Awards goes, its release date was a fortnight after the last Saturn Awards. So either it got none at those Saturn Awards or it's eligible for the next set of Saturn Awards, which haven't happened yet. So we don't know. Only nominated for 2 awards yet, although it only came out 5-6 months ago. So it may get more, but nothing too massive, nothing worth talking about nominations-wise. So bit early for its awards. Synopsis. Speaking of things being a bit early, the only synopsis on IMDb, written by Anonymous. A father and his 2 teenage daughters find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the savannah has more than one apex predator. I think I've actually read that wrong, but that's yeah, that's genuinely it. That is the whole thing. No other synopsis. But pretty much that's the film. Idris Elba and his daughters go to the savannah, and there's this mental lion trying to kill everybody, and that's the film, basically, is what the film is. Who picked? The Wheel picked, with our more modernized wheel, with the more up-to-date, newer sort of ones, to try and get our finger on the pulse of what's happening. So had any of us seen it before?
No, as I said, the advertisement put me off of this bad boy.
We had not. I think is this the first film that none of us have seen? Well, I guess since Prey, but there's not many films that none of us hadn't seen before. Which channel would we watch it on? Well, it's on Amazon Prime at the moment. But, it'll be on Sky Cinema at some point, and then I can see it settling very nicely on Netflix. This one,
yeah, or BBC. If it's going to go to terrestrial, it's going to be BBC as a documentary.
Yeah. And which version did we watch? Well, there only is one version, so there isn't like an unrated Beast cut or anything like that yet. So we only watched the version that exists that you can rent everywhere that you can rent stuff at the moment. On to point 2 then. Point 2 on the podcast is our high points. Best bits, best things, best themes, best this, that, and the other. I want to start off with my earliest high point. Is the fella getting caught in his own trap and getting hung up?
I did like that whole entire scene where Lion just becomes like turns around, and it's just like you think all these poachers is like bit of a sad downer, bit of a massacre at the start.
Yeah.
But then suddenly things just turn. That Lion's just he's on it.
I had a bit of a subtitle issue the first time I watched it, so I had no idea what any of them were saying. And then when later on when Vicus, I could go call him Vicus. Martin was talking about, he probably killed his pride, and I was like, that was them. Right, I need to go back and find some subtitles here and find out what they were saying.
Yeah.
Because it makes much more sense in the second viewing.
Jesus,
after our subtitle drama, I will talk off podcast about a subtitle drama that I forgot to mention before we started. But, yeah, subtitles were grand for me this time. I knew what everybody was saying, but literally it was like the first 3 minutes of the film, and then everybody kind of spoke English after that. So, but yeah, the first scene's good. Yeah, it's a bit of a downer starting a film. This kills 7 lines or whatever it is. That's how the film starts. But yes, any other early high points from anyone?
Pretty struggling now.
Well, it happens a lot through the film. I'm going to say the one shots where like, it just kept going, following like all the people around, and then you're seeing it from their view, and then you're like, where the fuck's the lion coming from? Because you don't know. You can only see what you can see.
The bit near the end I loved, where he's like walking out of the church, And it's
That
like
was-
you know he's there somewhere, and then suddenly just the bush moves,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of follow it, and then it's like he turns around and you can see him walking through the window and all that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that bit. That was
The earliest one that I've literally got cinematography written down here, which is when I nearly called them Vicus again. Martin meets his lions and gives them big hugs and all that.
Yeah.
It's presented as a one shot of about 5 minutes at that point, because basically they come out the car with the camera, and then they go up and he hugs one lion that's not there. Like, that lion isn't a real lion, that's a person pretending to be a lion. And then he hugs another one, and then they do this, and then there's they meet a guy, was it Badgie, his name is Banji.
Bungie.
They meet Onion Banji, and then he comes out, and then they have a bit of chat with him, and it's like the girls are over there. It's like there's these 6 people, and I guess 2 lions plus others, and the camera just keeps moving around, and it's really, really good. And then the vultures was the next bit of cinematography, where they're driving along the road, and nothing bad has gone wrong yet, and then all of a sudden the car just goes behind a bush and drives away, and you pan across, and there's these 2 vultures just pecking at one of the cars from the first scene, and I'm like, that's a great shot of it just following, like, impending doom as the vultures are there. But yeah, I would say maybe once every 10 minutes there's a really extended.
Anytime there's like a scene with the lion, it's like a one shot. You're just following the person around. You can hear the lion off screen or something, off screen. And the one where it comes down from the cliff, jumps down and attacks him, and then he falls underneath. And for like, I think a couple of minutes, you're just following him underneath.
Yeah.
The
Backs that
car.
side, one side, the other, that side, the other. Yeah,
That's actually one of my other high points is that car like scene.
yeah.
I really enjoyed that car scene.
That I've got from when Martin first goes looking for the lion on his own through to the first attack from the lion. That's a really good stretch. That's not one shot, but that's probably the peak of the film for me, is probably that stretch where he sees the crocodile and you know that lion's out there, and then like the first attack on the car, where we don't really know what this film is. We only know these group of characters. Like, what on earth is going to happen? Like, how are they possibly going to stop this mental lion with just 3 innocents who know very little about lions in this one car? But the final thing on the cinematography, not to get too film analytical about it, but my thinking would be the director wants you to feel very much like you're stuck and you could only see what the character can see at any one point, and that you see the lion can then come from anywhere. So always presenting it as basically the point of view of whichever character you're following around. Their view makes it. It's not like you're stuck in the one spot. It's not claustrophobic exactly, but it's like just kind of terrifying.
You're limited to what you can see.
Yeah.
Well, other films it flashes, but like to different points.
Like you would see the lion coming running through the jungle, and it would cut back, and then the lion was running through the jungle, the desert, the savannah, and all that.
You never get a lion POV, do you?
I don't think you do. That's the thing. He's the enemy. Like, it's like it's Jaws basically. I've put that as one.
I think the closest one is when he's over Idris Elba in the water. That's probably the closest point that you get from him.
Yeah, but then even then, you know Idris Elba's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they wanted to make Jaws, but on land. So like the massive scary animal is the enemy, and these humans.
I want to see a giraffe attack people.
I've got one more kind of one. It's more about the one shot again. It's the Village of the Dead, where again you're just following everybody around, and you're like, something's going down here.
Yeah.
And it just follows them into the hut where everybody's dead.
You just hear Martin going, "Don't come in here, get the girls, get them away." It's like, oh Christ, what is in this building? Yeah.
So what does he do? He takes them into the fucking hut with him.
Oh, trust me, there's a lot of this coming up soon. Later.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of low points about this topic. I have 2 more low points. One is
high points.
I mean high points here. One is very much early doors, but it carries on. I very much enjoyed the film is infotainment about lions, like especially when he was talking about the female lions are the hunters and the male lions do this, and I was like, oh, I'm actually learning what this is. And then obviously that was very important come the end, which is my other high point, which is it must be why Idris Elba took this film. They're like, do you want to do this film? It's called Beast. It's about lions. And all right, then you get to fight a lion. I'm in. Sign me up. It's like, yeah, Idris Elba has basically a fist fight with a lion in this film.
It was very Revenant. The end fight with him just getting mauled to bits.
Yes,
I enjoyed it, but the problem I had is I was expecting that twist a lot earlier on, like of the lions coming to help,
right?
Because obviously they've made a very big point of it, and I was just like, wait there. He like when Thingy was on the little island, I thought, oh, his lions are going to come and help him there.
Right.
Like, oh, they didn't, and then when the longer it took, I was like, this is where this ends.
It's when they drove back and you could see them in the background and they weren't being too acknowledged, but you
Yeah.
could tell. I was like, all right, well, that lion won't come here because that's what this lion's territory is. And then the school happens and I'm like, I'll come on to that. But then it goes back outside again. I'm like, right. And again, I've got it in the low points, but it's a question more in the higher low point. He didn't answer the question at the end. Do you think his plan was, I will draw this evil lion over to my pals' lions?
Oh, 100%.
Or
that was his plan.
Was he just, I am out of ideas here. I'll just need to get his lion as far away as possible. Oops, I've tripped and fallen in front of all these friendlies over here.
No, I reckon he knew what he was doing.
Right.
And he remembered what his friend said. They would protect the pride, whatever.
Cool.
It would have backfired massively. Thought, oh, he's a big bastard. I'm just going to leave this.
All these
That's what I
lions
kind of
just
did for like 5 minutes. When he was getting fucking mobbed.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Let's let him tire myself out a little bit. and then we'll get in.
Remember they're like, is that guy? That's Martin's pal. He was here like yesterday.
He was familiar.
Is that him?
That's a scary little bitch.
Should we help him?
How can you tell one human from another? I don't know. They all look
They'll
kind of
look
similar. Yeah. Because I don't know how to tell a lion apart. But yeah, again, it was a good. I liked the ending. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Is that us for high points?
I think so.
On to the lows then. My earliest low is I've actually got the time 12 minutes into the film. So does anyone get anything much earlier than that as their earliest low point?
That's
don't know.
family drama.
Mine's just the family.
Well, okay, I've got personally, I feel like minutes 12 through 16 of a film is a really tough time for to hit the emotional, literal breakdown of a family story. It's like, I'm here for some lion. I'm not here to hear about, oh, my wife was dying with this and you weren't there for me and you said we were going to be fine and now she's dead and you're now stuck with us and you left her before she died. It's like, oh my God, this is not what I signed up for here. It's like, yeah, it's almost as bad as Guardians of the Galaxy where you wipe out Star-Lord's mother in the first 5 minutes of the film. But this is like the next step where it's just like, I was like, oh, I'd like to know these characters before getting as deep as this.
I watched it and he was like, what's she called? The mayor was like, you weren't here for us. Oh, no. Martin's shown enough more interest in my paintings or drawings than you have, photography than you have. And he's just like, if you got a problem, come at me. What are you talking to?
You'll fight anybody. I'll fight a lion if I have to.
But those two just annoyed the shit out of me. It's like it's everything they did, and then it's like, oh look, there's a boy there. She instantly wants to bang him. It's like just like Onion Badger or whatever you called him. Yeah, as soon as he came out, it's just like straight away. I was just like, she fancies him straight away, like instantaneously. It's like,
he had a gun, handsome lad with a gun.
I know.
Like that.
even the dad knew. The dad was like, wait, fuck off, Onion Badger. Get back.
If I've learned anything from Hollywood films, though, it's when the unsettled teenager is annoyed at the dad, they then go flirting with a boy in front of them. So I think it might just been a point to be made. It's like, I'm over here in Africa now, Dad, but I'm still not doing what you want me to. I'm going to flirt with him over there.
It did annoy me. Like every chance she had, she did the opposite of what he wanted.
Oh, right. Every single step. All my low points are this.
Where Thingamee is.
Yep.
I'm just going to come out and follow you.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lion chasing us.
It's either follow me, don't do what you said, wander off by yourself, stay in the car, I'll get out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then, right, this is the ultimate low point, right? I'm meant to believe that the dad wants to save the kids and everything like that, right? She had no intention. She was to go and save the uncle. Like, her dad was getting mauled by a fucking lion, stuck under a motherfucking car, and she just wandered off.
Yep.
And went, they'll be fine. Fuck my sister, fuck my dad, I'm away over to see my uncle. It actually knocked me off.
And her whole, like, it was a complete disconnect for me because Martin, on the radio, says, I'm hurt pretty badly, I'm here, but I can't see the lion. The lion was here, but he's walked away from me now. And they're like, oh, what landmarks are you nearby? Oh, no, at first I thought he said a hunter's bly, and I started laughing because it said blind. Blind, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As a hunter's blind. So then she just like, oh, it's there. And then he just gets out the car and starts walking towards it. And it's like, he said the lion was there and can't see it anymore. This is a landmark because that's a red flag to go away from that area. Like the lion was there. So yeah, you say it's
also Super MacGuffin. That thing was there. Why didn't they just go up it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
they'd be sorted, wouldn't they?
Like I don't think the lion can climb ladders. That thing was pretty fucking high. Why did nobody decide to go? Like, why didn't even the poachers use it at that bit?
Yeah. Unless there's no way to get the ladder down. Maybe you need a key to get the ladder down. But then they had guns and stuff, didn't they?
I would rather try and climb up a metal pole than face a lion.
Straight. That's fair
I
enough.
forgot what I was going to say there. It's gone now.
I'll probably come back to the kids again because I'm going through my notes in order here. What the heck was the weird dream in the car all about?
Oh, the fucking dreamception.
I did two weird dreamy things, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a nightmare, but he didn't go like out of it. He just, that's a horrible thing to happen in my dream. Oh yeah, there's my wife lying next to me there, and I carried on with more dream. Like, what?
The dreams annoyed me. Like, why is it in every film a dream is somebody just walking away from you and you're chasing him? Where's his teeth falling out? Why can't he run? Or I don't know. That's all the dreams are about. My teeth just fall out.
My theory for the dream stuff is, we've made this film. It's
too short.
It's only 75 minutes long. Oh, right. We need to bulk out put some dream sequences in it of it. People love a dream sequence. So yeah, the other ones was like, okay, the mother's not a character in this film. Like, I don't need to know about her. This is where I'm here for the lion. But the one in the car, just so, we need to do one of them fake outs. Let's do a fake out where they think the lion's got people and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I didn't like that.
The end one just felt too Titanic-y as well. It's like, it's like, fuck off.
Next one, complaining about the kids again. Of course, the thing to do when your father is sneaking around in the dark, avoiding both hunters and a lion, is to radio him. Dad, are you okay? Are you dead yet? Is a lion? Try and be quiet so the lion doesn't fight. Like you have to let that person radio you, stupid kids, you idiots.
See, if that was me, what I would literally do is go, thanks, you just fucking killed me, you bell end.
Yeah, I am dead because of you. Take that to your grave.
I definitely would do something like that. It's like, shut the fuck up.
And straight after that, like this film, there's some leaps of faith, some improbable things that happen. The single most unlikely thing to happen is Nate finding the guy who has the keys to the car. There's no chance. Hard to find him in the first place because it could be anywhere. Like, within running distance in 20 minutes is where that guy could be. But to find the keys on specifically that guy, because that guy might not necessarily have had them. He thought he was the one who was driving. But the lion could have swallowed the keys, could have eaten the guy's leg off, could have chopped him in half, could be in the water. So I don't believe that he'd be able to wander. Oh, here's the guy.
Jurassic Park moments where it's one of those noisy keys. This lion's walk along. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the most unlikely thing, I think, in the whole film. I've got a couple of others. Anybody else get any more?
I've got one. Killing Victus off too early. Well, one, incapacitating him, because I was like, straight away, I was like, he's only in it for like 5 minutes. And I was like, that's bullshit, because I don't give a shit about any of these other characters. He was the one I cared about. Yep. And then he kind of sits around for the rest of the film and then dies. It's like, for fuck's sake.
They save him, and then he's not in the film for about 20 minutes. He's just in the back of the Land Rover somewhere, not doing anything.
Sleeping. Like, what an acting job. Do you want to come and act? Yeah, I've not done it for a while. I'm a bit rusty. All you have to do is sleep in the back of a car. Right, I'm on it.
I liked it where the hunters show up and there's one guy's like, he look and sound exactly the same as Shartle Coldplay does. And then he walks in, it's him! And then they all pull guns. It's going to be one way or the other, wasn't it? I've actually only got one more low point.
Well, I've got kind of a couple. I've got a classic, Bruce. In between high and low point here.
Okay, well, you hit us with what I've got.
I liked how indestructible the lion was. I mean, it added a bigger sense of danger because it survived falling off a cliff, it survived getting shot, burnt a lot, and stabbed.
And gives no shits about Tranks, apparently.
Yeah, just shook it off.
But then again, that's completely. Surely, if a lion fell from that height and get blown up, it would die.
I don't. Now you think, I kind of thought I was done at the explosion. I thought, that's it.
I was waiting for the second lion to come and get them.
Yeah, we didn't see it exploding.
Once I seen the smoky lion come back into the church, I was like, all right, Victus is coming back. Here we go. If he can survive it, anybody can survive it. But actually, Chris has just jogged another low point for me. They tranked the motherfucker, right? It was asleep for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Why didn't they just fucking polish it off then?
Go get it.
Like, just smash it over the head with a rock, run the fucking car over his head, kill the motherfucker. It's not like what point does, I don't know, so maybe some Greenpeace people or PETA people can explain this to me, drop a message. At what point, how many people does a lion have to kill before you go, you know what? we should really put this motherfucker down. It's a bit aggressive.
I
Because
wonder, would Peter be like, well, you shouldn't have gone out in the desert in the first place? It's like, you shouldn't have killed that lion. You weren't supposed to be there. Like, you went there and killed the lion. If you just left
no,
it
they
alone.
didn't kill a lion. That lion is also like targeting the wrong people, right? And this is one of my other theories. Now, I can get behind this. This could sway a point, or it can either lose a point or gain a point because of you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
My leap of faith in this film is the reason why Idris Elba and the kids are getting attacked is purely because the lion smells the blood on Idris Elba from the poachers.
Ah. Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Because other than that, the lion's a bell end.
Just attacking everybody.
Because obviously the poachers killed it, so it's pissed off at the poachers. The poachers then went to that little village that obviously the locals didn't want to help, but obviously the poachers probably forced upon it. So the smell's there. Then that one little villager probably had poacher smell on him.
Yeah.
Died in the middle. Idris Elba then tried to help him. Is then covered in blood. So is the lion then thinking that I know you're still a poacher?
That's a mind blown moment there.
I hadn't thought of that that might be.
Because other than that, the lion's just going for anybody.
I thought the lamp.
People.
I thought it was just a case of it just saw red and was like, I've had enough of these people. I can't be dealing with this. And I'm just gonna go kill them until they kill me.
And if that's the case, then yeah, it's losing a point because that lion should have just been killed there. Tranked it, killed it.
I've compared this film to Jaws. I've compared it to something else later on, but now I'm thinking it's more of a kind of falling down with a lion, as in
Yes.
the lion's been sitting in the traffic and he's just finally snapped, and it gets to the end of the film and he's like, no, lions are attacking me. I'm the bad guy. Oh, I'm the bad guy.
I am the bad guy,
yeah. So yeah, falling down with a lion. And it may have worked out, but my last low point, I cannot fathom a scenario where heading into an abandoned school in the middle of nowhere is going to be a good idea. And the reason he gave was, I don't want to run out of petrol in the middle of nowhere with you bleeding out.
Yep.
It's like, but why are you going to run out of petrol in the middle of nowhere? Because like that car, like the poachers were in that car, they're not going to short themselves on petrol. They'll have enough petrol to get back to a village of some kind. And it seems like I am free of this hellscape that is wherever the lion
You must
is living.
stop so the lion can catch up.
Yeah, I need to go. Like this lion, I did some research. Lions can run 50 mile an hour, but not for a long period of time. So once you're basically, 10 miles away, that lion isn't catching up to you for a long time in a car. So it's like, I cannot understand why he stopped to go to what he knows is an abandoned school. Like, it was built for people who go to the mines, but the mines dried up, so no one's going to be there anymore. Why would they have medical supplies? So terrible idea. And of course, it didn't work out. He walked in there, poured some booze on his daughter's leg, and then went and suicided with a lion. Basically, that's what he did when they got there. Any other low points?
My final one is how bad a shot Nate was. He took about 10 shots and missed every single one of them. He missed throwing a fucking dagger sheath at him. Like, he couldn't hit him with a gun, couldn't hit him with a tranquilizer, and couldn't hit him with fucking stuff.
I mean, I have very little experience with any sort of firearms whatsoever. But so I would be confident I could hit it with a gun. But also the tranq darts, it's kind of one and done, isn't it? Like you shoot that and then you got to reload the whole bleeding thing. And it's running at you, terrifying. So,
also, low point, maybe not for the film, but just generally, right? Why do you go on a safari? You always have a guy with a gun, right? Why do you always have to assemble a motherfucker? A lion can come out of anywhere. Don't put it in a lockbox. Don't padlock it away, and don't make it a 3-part gun that you have to assemble. Then put a tranq gun in. That seems a stupid idea.
Yeah, it does.
Put an AK-47, just strap it to the side, just in case.
In case, with the safety off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was nothing. How weak did Idris Elba look when he put to get the gun out? He put the crowbar in the thing. And his daughter just went, "Hey-ya!"
Any others?
That was me.
I think we've praised and complained enough. On to point 4, the stats. I've kept track of our usual ones. Only 4 shits. I think they were all Idris Elba in the heat of the moment. No F-bombs, though. And 1 explosion, because Vickers exploded himself. So, again, it's not Vickers, it's Martin. I counted these as a bit long, and then I got confirmation I had actually absolutely nailed it. There are 20 deaths in the film, which is confirmed by the internet. That's all human deaths. There were a few lion deaths. Which goes into my dead animals section. Zebras, lions, and a cow all died. which means we had a cow in the film. It's been a while since we had a cow. They used to be in every film. And 2 goats as well. Hit both of the animal quotas, cows and goats. Because that's another one. The daughter, where's your sister? Oh, she was playing with the goats over there, and then just just wandered off in this empty village. Like, stay nearby, don't disappear off. Or I'm going to go with this goat wherever it wants to take me. No paedophiles though in the middle of the desert, and the Tackleberry trifecta just running, no motorbikes, and nobody got the girl, not even the lion at the end. Did they say the thing? Did they say beast?
No.
I don't think so. I don't remember it. I certainly didn't, because everyone was too panicked to identify the lion as the beast. And that's the last one I've got. I thought I'd left the obvious one for Chris. So Chris, what are your stats?
Yeah, I tried to count beasts. I got to 69. That's including 9
Nice.
poachers.
All right. So, I remember doing Prey that I think we hit a record for number of different animals that had been in a film.
Yeah.
I was going to. There was like rhinos, giraffes, lions. I think you call it a springbok or something like that.
Yeah, something like
antelope.
that. Yeah, crocodile,
crocodile, elephant.
vulture.
I didn't count birds.
Yeah,
Oh, there was vultures. I think
definitely vultures. Yeah,
technical beast and snake.
Snake as well. Yes, a whole bunch of different kinds of animals. As well. But I think Prey might still have the lead on that.
I bet they had the best fucking ladder of praise.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always fighting a different animal every 10 minutes. Any others from you, Chris?
No, that was it.
No nut shots or anything like that this week.
Again, there's a lion nut shot. That big fucker as it's going past above the car. You saw its nuts.
All right, okay, a nut shot.
A genuine nut shot.
Yeah.
I see. Andy, again, I have you in stats, but I forget to take out my notes.
Oh, normally I pick up a random fact.
Oh, that's right. That is the one that you do or something. What's your random fact, Andy?
So apparently the random fact of this one is the poachers dropped, they drove like X amount, because apparently they got him, let's start again. So apparently the poachers drove away 50 kilometers and then swung back around to come back. But obviously what you like a lion can't actually travel that distance because technically apparently only 1 day's passed in this.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So they cut a big chunk of the film out where the poachers just randomly materialize again.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, of course.
But yeah, apparently the poachers drive away because the original idea was they were meant to trank that one, and then he wakes up and then comes back in a different area because we're the poachers. Because I think Victor says something that they did something and the school's 50 kilometers away, so the timeline doesn't add up.
Right.
So they actually had to cut a big chunk of the film out to try and cover it up.
So that would also explain why Idris Elba doesn't want to try and get anywhere. Because
Something about 50 kilometers, and they had to just cut a chunk of this film out to try and make continuity right.
I mean, they could have swapped the dream sequences for a bit more of this.
Exactly.
On to the point 5 on the podcast. With the podcast is our Temple Podcast quiz. Point 5. Andy is the quizmaster. So Andy, what have you got for us this week?
This quiz is called Beast Mode.
Hey.
It's a simple quiz. You'll understand as we go along. We'll do back and forth as we normally do.
Okay.
Start with Chris. I think it's Chris's turn this time.
Chris usually knows. Yeah.
Right.
I think yeah. Aye, we'll go for it.
There's a theme on the Beast Mode quiz. You'll work out. Okay. Chris, who was previously referred to as a beast for having once downed a tree with a shovel?
Karzy.
Yes.
All right. Oh, geez. Nichest question of all time.
Bruce, you got a little bit harder one.
Thank you.
In which TV show did Ron Perlman star alongside Linda Hamilton?
Was that Beauty and the Beast?
That's Beauty and the Beast.
What?
Yeah, it was a TV show Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I think it was before the animated film, I think. Yeah.
Right. I'll give you an extra point, Bruce, since Chris got a really easy one. Okay. If you can name Ron Perlman's character.
In the Beauty and the Beast. Oh. It's been a long time since I've seen any version of it. No, I can't. I actually can't.
No. Chris, do you want to have a stab?
Gaston?
No. It was Vincent.
Gaston was one of the
I wasn't sure.
Wasn't he?
No, Gaston was the big burly guy.
Well, put it this way: Beauty and the Beast is this version is like set in New York City. It's not actually. Bruce, Chris, what is the name of the YouTube star who is also a Fortnite character?
Mr. Beast.
Yes, Mr. Beast.
thought he was a Fortnite character, but I'm aware of his name from YouTube.
Bruce, you got a little harder one. How many seasons of Beast Wars Transformers, the animated series, was there?
Jesus.
How many series? Could be anything. It could be actually any number. 5.
Ah, so close. It was 4. It doesn't get thrown over.
I was going to say 6 anyway.
Good. Chris, which franchise does Beastman hail from?
DC?
No.
Beast Man.
Bruce gets thrown over this time.
Franchise is Beast Man. I don't know. Is it Marvel?
No, it was Masters of the Universe.
Ah,
Never
right.
would know
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Bruce,
Hmm?
what is Mark Labette better known as?
Mark Labette. Something relating to beasts, I would imagine. It's not that. So, I don't know. I don't know. The beast.
Oh, Bruce got it. Bruce got it in the end.
I was just going to say literally beast.
Yeah, Mark Labette is the beast from The Chase.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Right, Chris. How would you describe Kinky Kelly and the Sexy Studs act?
Bestiality.
Wrong, Bruce.
Well, I know it. Right, this isn't my answer. I know it's a donkey show, but I know you're looking for how it is described in the film, which I can't remember what it is. Anything else? It's
Chris gave me the crude term, is hence bestiality, which I knew you'd fall for.
yeah. Ah, is it like animal erotica or something?
No,
like
I'm going to
that?
throw it back over to Chris to steal his point back.
Pointing back.
Guy fucking a donkey.
No, it was interspecies erotica.
That's what interspecies. That was it. Yeah.
It's still technically bestiality.
It is
Well, yeah.
bestiality.
We're just looking
So
for the actual quote.
I
wasn't
was,
we? So-
I knew you'd fall for it. That's why I thought I'd do
Yeah.
that one. Bruce, slightly harder one for you. Who is the lead in the 1982 movie The Beastmaster? The actor is also appearing at London Comic Con Spring next weekend.
Now, I don't know why. I don't know if this is right or not, but the actor whose name jumped to my head is Lance Henriksen.
No.
Right. I don't know why, but that's who jumped in my head when you said that there.
Chris?
Dolph Lundgren.
No, it's Mark Singer.
Oh,
What do I know
fuck
Mark
us,
Singer from? Is
Nothing.
he just
Yeah, he's just the
Beastmaster?
Beastman.
Right,
The
okay.
Beastmaster.
Chris?
Chris,
It's Chris.
what is the real name of the character Beast in X-Men?
Oh, Hank McCoy.
Oh, damn it.
Wrong, Bruce.
Oh, Dr. Hack McCoy?
Correct, 1 point.
Doctor's a title. His name is Hank McCoy.
I'll take it. I think that's enough of
What's
this
the scores?
I think I'm just taking a 3-2 lead, I think, but my scorekeeping
Okay.
is poor on this one.
Whose goes?
Me to go first.
Yeah. Slightly harder one, Bruce.
I can say that every time, I think.
When was the video game Gang Beasts first released?
Oh, right. 2018.
No, Chris.
2017.
No, it was 2014. Bruce wins.
Oh, hey. Controversially. Controversial victory for me there. I think I've kept the score correct. It'll be reviewed at the end of the season by me, but I am fair.
Shenanigans.
So, I will be able to tell if I won or not at the end. But yeah, I think a 2-2 win. A very beast-heavy quiz there, where beast
There's a lot of
appeared in the answers quite a lot as well, which is quite handy. On the point 6 on the 10-point podcast is movies within movies, an all-encompassing random set of things to do with films that we cover each week. So, Chris, you do the 10-point podcast universe, which is basically actors we've done before in our previous 200+ episodes. So, Chris, who is it this week?
It's quite a short one, actually. Shelter Copley, who is Martin Battles, by the way, his name is. What name that is?
That's Martin Battles. Because at one point someone said, where is something to do with like battle? Didn't call him Martin. I was like, who the hell is that? Oh yeah, it was him they're talking about.
He was in District 9 as Vicus, who
He
we
was.
like to keep calling him.
Because
Idris Elba, who I completely forgot we'd ever done. He was in Rock and Roller as Mumbles.
almost
Whoever that
back-to-back
was.
episodes. He was just like there was Gerard Butler's character and his pal was Idris Elba. They were like the duo from.
Oh, he was in the main group.
Yeah, he was one of the main guys. He was probably like it was him, and then Tom Hardy was the third one of their little trio, basically. So yeah, he was Mumbles.
That's a random one. Daniel Hadibi, who plays Abduya, he was in District 9 as an MNU guard.
I think by the look at the cast list here, he must be one of the guys from the very beginning because it's an order of appearance. The cast list I think I've got. So yeah, he must have been from the start.
So that's it.
That you?
That's it.
Have you recast us into the film?
I did. I put myself as Nate. I'm the only one with kids. Plus, they barely talk to me. Like, he barely talked to him in that.
I had you as well. I thought father of two daughters. That kind of has to be Chris, doesn't it?
I put you as Bungie, Bruce, or Banji. And I put Andy as Martin because he likes to take credit for me and Nicola getting together, and Martin takes credit for getting
It does.
Nate and his wife together in this.
Okay, that's fair.
See, I thought it was going to be Lion.
I put Andy as a lion. I thought
Yes!
it was a rage-filled monster. I thought I gave myself Martin, but I'll be fair. If we're all being humans, I think that's not a bad setup. Very good. I was going to
They're
film.
dying in both of those scenarios.
Yes, you do.
Fucker.
I was going to do films that are referenced, but it's like it is Jaws basically, and we worked out.
Apparently, this is like for like on a 1972 film called Orca,
Right, okay. Which I'm assuming is
Where-
about a whale. I would
which
say.
is a whale that like poachers kill, like is whatever, I don't know, whale's
pod.
pride or whatever pod. And then this orca just goes on a killing spree of killing boats and shit.
So it's like the anti-free will.
I was going to
Yeah.
say exactly that. And I bet in the early 90s, some people went into like video blockbuster shops and swapped Free Willy around with this film. So I pretty much, when very early on, the girl had a Jurassic Park kind of vest on, and I was like, well, that's more than a hint to what this film's going to be like. And yeah, basically, this is Jurassic Park. Like they go off on a tour in a Land Rover into the area where there's a whole bunch of lions, and the big bad lion takes a disliking to them, and they spend the rest of the film trying to get away with it, and it sticking its head into the car through the window, and no one gets eaten on a toilet though. That's the only difference.
If Jurassic Park's taught me anything, don't move.
Don't move, which I think would have been
Everything's
bad.
vision's based in movement.
Yeah, I was wondering about a lion. I didn't actually do any biological research on
Yeah,
lions.
because like that lion, one didn't see Idris Elba, didn't hear him, it didn't smell him, but somehow could track blood from like 50 kilometers away.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how they sense things. I think they're a
In
bit better
theory.
than a T-Rex. Yeah. So yeah, Jurassic Park was the main one. Could this film have come out in 1995 though? Jumanji did. So I thought when I first thought this film, I was like, no way this could come out because they wouldn't get actual lions and they couldn't CGI lions. But I thought, well, Jumanji's like they had lions in Jumanji and all that, so they could have made this. It wouldn't be as good, I don't think. It's better.
That was
now.
Jurassic Park, 1990, 92.
93, I think Jurassic Park. 92,
Yeah.
93 Jurassic Park.
Animatronics.
Yeah, fair enough. Could have done that.
Or
But I
they
think
could train the lion. Like Joe Exotic would be in like in his prime by then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine this line actually mauling somebody. As I do, make it like live action.
Just Joe off camera with a fucking Magnum, just in case.
Well, chocolate ice cream. Yeah, so I think this could easily be in 1995. Nothing stopping this being in 1995. Dead Man Walking. I had Banji as Dead Man Walking
That's all right.
until Martin took off with his rifle on his own and he saw that crocodile and I thought, oh my god, we've had enough character building for you. You're kind of a friendly, familiar face. You could be snuffing it right here. But yeah, he survived quite a while longer and got. But yeah, Banji actually saved him in the end when you think about it, because we hear gunfire. So the lions fight the lions, and then we just hear like a gunshot or two, and it fades to black. Do you think Banji's shooting the bad lion,
Yeah, of
or
course.
does he
I'm
just
sure
think there's
good ones.
carnage going on, and I'm picking off lions as they
I
come?
thought I heard him talk about a tranquilizer. I thought he was like tranking them.
Maybe. Might have been him tranking the good lions. Might have been the way to do it. But yeah, I thought Banji was a goner, but it was.
That's what the
not.
sequel is. He missed the actual line, and it's going on a
it's
rampage
back.
again.
It's just Banji. That's all it is.
Beast 2, I'm back.
Who's in the wrong movie? I don't have an answer for this one because there's barely anybody in this movie, and you kind of need the two kids. One kid wouldn't have worked, so you can't take that character out. None of the acting is bad.
I would say Aegis Elbow.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
he's the main guy. Like, who'd be
I mean,
better?
he seems to be like just floated in. He like Doesn't put much effort in.
He didn't seem to give a shit. Look at it. Like, just look at the face behind Bruce.
He's had enough of this already.
Like that's him. Just like, why the fuck am I on set here? That's that face.
I used to be Marvel movies. I used to.
Well, he hated them as well.
Oh yeah, he did.
Unless it's some British indie film, he doesn't give a shit.
I want to be in Luther. When's the next season of Luther coming on? It does feel like a movie that The Rock didn't make. Like, I bet they went to The Rock first. They're like, you can fight a lion in this one. I'd rather fight Vin Diesel again.
Yeah, it's like I've already fought a massive crocodile and a giant ape.
Yeah.
Well, no, did you see the writer did the same?
Yeah, the
thing,
writer
so
did the first one.
So yeah, definitely went to The Rock first.
Did
the Rock turned us down.
Positive, The Rock turned us down. Absolutely. And then tropes. Which trope from this film would we like to die? A tough one again. I just went going to the absolute middle of nowhere without anybody kind of looking for you, like backing you up, is a trope that needs to go. Because people just.
I put dreams.
Yeah, dream sequences is a bad one. Yeah.
Not enough guns.
It's the same dreams every time. So.
They said there wasn't enough guns, Andy.
Yeah, there's not enough guns. Like kind of like what you said, like going to your place by yourself. Just taking having the one little guy with a gun. No, if you're going to the safari, everybody gets an AK-47. If I'm going to Africa on tour, I want to be handing an AK-47, showing how to use it, and go just in case. Have this.
Why is it always bolt action rifles as well? I kind of probably got pack a bigger punch, but once that one bullet's gone, you're like, oh fucking hell, it's jammed.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit me.
I want a minigun of fucking like tranks just in case I miss.
Mounted on the car.
Blow that fucker down.
Like basically, I'm assuming Banji's not really anything to do with them, but he seemed to be like the security detail, and he just toddles off and does his own thing. We don't better taking him with you. Like, it seems like they set him up to be part of the little crew. And that's us, I think, for movies within movies. I don't know if anyone's got anything else. On to point 7. Point 7 is that one thing inspired by City Slickers. The one thing. Normally it's the meaning of life. For us, it's the one thing we'll take away from this film. The one thing this film has that sets it apart. Andy, what's your one thing for Beast?
I'm going to steal Chris's because I'm probably going to go for it. One shot.
Okay. The one shot. That both going for that. For me, Idris Elba fought a lion in this film. I will forget that in a hurry. The culmination was a fist fight between a man and a lion. But yeah, the one shots are really good in this film. It's very
I'll
good
remember from this film.
I'm interested in the director now, and he's got a memorable name. So if I see that name again, I'm like, oh, he was good.
Maybe I bet he did an episode of Daredevil.
I don't think he
did.
did.
That's what I remember from Daredevil is the one shot of him.
It's true. That's what I remember from Daredevil as well. I couldn't actually tell, like, other than Kingpin and that. I just remember one shots, staircases.
Yeah, staircases, and there's like a warehouse kind of thing, a corridor maybe in a warehouse. He does it as well. But yeah, the one shots. Well cinematographed and directed this film. On to point 8, our nominations for our awards at the end of the season. Tradition says Chris comes up with a bunch of them.
He's struggling.
And we tell him
I have
wrong.
actually. I've just realised I've not got a lot of them down.
That's
so
fine. It doesn't have to be a lot.
I've got best supporting is Sharlto Copley.
I just missed out acting ones altogether. I had no opinion on any of them really. But if you want that, I don't know if Andy wants to agree or disagree.
I'd say I like the guy. I feel like he needs to be in more movies, so I'll give him best supporting.
Fair enough.
Well, he could be most underused as well.
Definitely most underused. 100%.
I think so. Yeah, most underused.
Okay. Fucking hell. Biggest Bellend award. I put The Poachers.
Yep.
So I've got a nominee for this, but I actually might propose a new award. I have Mare, the older of the two kids, as biggest Bellend. However, she's really biggest buzzkill. I think that she's just depressing and brings up bad things and is always negative, blah blah. Like she was that character that was just killed all of the fun times everybody else is having. So she's not necessarily
Negative Nancy award.
Negative Nancy, Buzzkill, Buzz Killington.
You can add another award. You have two separate ones.
I'm pretty sure I'm adding one weekly here.
Well, that's the thing. I thought I'll put her in as biggest Bellend, but the Poachers are right. The Poachers are the Bellend. So yeah, I'll have her as the Negative Nancy biggest Buzzkill award. Will go to Mare for this film.
Best death. It's got to be Martin's.
I think so. Blowing up yourself on the line. Okay.
Poacher hanging in his own trap.
Maybe.
Like that was justice. That was justice served up nicely.
Actually, that's a fair point. Yeah, I'll back down from what I had.
Okay.
I'll go with Andy. Yeah.
I just made up in the spot because I haven't got it written down here.
I had it written down, but the more I think about it, I think that probably is the best test because it literally made me laugh out loud. There's other ones like, this exploded. So,
it can be fun.
If he'd killed the lion as well, then yes. Because he didn't. He just blew himself up. So yeah, I think so. Yeah.
My worst plan is chasing after the lion alone and wading into a crocodile-infested waters in the middle of the night.
Right, I'm going to go with you in there because my worst plan was seeing a crocodile, like 2 seconds, and going, I'm going to walk into that.
Yeah.
Well, hunting a lion. That seems like a pretty fucking bad plan. So what Chris said, I'm with.
I'll go with it. I have it highlighted, but I don't have a nomination because pretty much everybody makes horrific.
There was a
decisions.
lot of bad plans, like just getting
Yeah.
out of the car, but that one he literally seen a crocodile. I would go, just seen a crocodile. It's away now. I'll go in the water.
He did look
See-
down, but it's Idris Elba's. He is just fucking neck deep in
Yeah.
the middle of the night.
Nope,
Yeah,
stupid.
agree.
There's a lot of them could have been done here.
There's a lot of stupid plans, but yeah.
The
My-
school would maybe my nominee might have been
Yeah.
going into the school in the first place, but I'm happy. I'm happy with you guys.
Well, and there they could have just went high and just hid from the fucking thing instead of just running away from it. My biggest jump scare was fucking birds.
But at the very end, yeah.
Oh, that is it. It was like 1 minute it's on it's the same point I think actually. Vic is just going after the lion and it's on Nate as he's helping somebody. Then it just flashes back to Martin, the birds just fly at you.
Oh,
Fucking
that's it.
shit myself.
I was the birds at the very, very end where they're posing for the photograph next
And
to
it
the
flies
tree.
out.
And all of a sudden it's like, all these birds are flying out the tree. And I was like, I was not anticipating it whatsoever. So that was my jump scare. But yeah, birds
Birds in
are fine.
general, yeah.
Yeah.
I put best special effects was the lion.
I think so. Yeah. You can tell it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And like, but for them to attempt what they attempted with that, particularly that scene where he's hugging them and all that sort of stuff, that's ambitious and it still looks pretty damn good. And then the lion itself, like there was never like an actual lion being filmed. I think they filmed a lion for reference, but
Yeah.
never used a lion in the film, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, every lion is CGI and it's fine. It's very, very much acceptable.
Has to be best fight, the lion versus Nate.
Yeah.
This is a two-parter. Best father figure is Nate because he saved his kids' lives. He is, and probably at first, he is also the worst father figure because he kept leaving them alone
Yeah.
and could have got them killed.
I mean, it might have been the only way for them to survive, though, was him trusting the big one with the little one, if you know what I'm saying. Might have been the only way. And then the little one was the big
She
one.
just fucked off as well.
Yeah.
Best animal was a lion. It was like the Terminator of all lions, just wouldn't die.
Is it a bigger badass than Idris Elba? Is it the lion? Or
Well,
is
I would say it is because it took down 20 people.
It did take 10
it did. If on a scale of badasses we've had before, if a human had done what the lion did, then the human would be biggest badass. So therefore, by that principle, I think the lion might be biggest badass. We should give it a name. Like if they just refer to it as like the alpha or something, like, at least it was
Rory.
a name rather than just being the lion.
Rory the lion. My worst accent was Idris Elba's. Just American accent. Just get an American to do it.
It
Or
came out
just
with,
do it British.
he's got a very good American accent, as I now watched the entirety of his run on The Wire thinking he was a guy from Baltimore, and it turns out he's a Cockney. So he has a very good American accent in him. But now he just does Idris Elba, like he just does his own voice, which sometimes is a wee bit American, sometimes a wee bit English.
Oh, there's a fucking big space of blankness here. So
You don't have to
carry
fill
on.
them up.
No, I was.
No.
Oh, you go.
Best hair, Nora, how do you say it? Her big afro was like her hair being bigger than she was. I quite
At
like
one
that.
point, I thought she was called Laura. I kept changing from Nora to Laura.
Best villain is the lion. He's definitely the villain, and he was very good. I'll go with that. Most annoying kid. I have Nora, but I think Mira, through being Buzzkilly, is a bit more annoying.
Yeah.
Two of them, the pairing might be most
Oh,
annoying
yeah.
kid. But Mira is the stupidest character. Again, I've got stupidest character, Nora wandering off in the village, but then Mira wanders off
Yep,
as well.
that's
So
true.
again, the two of them are stupidest character as well. For just disappear, not understanding the kind of
Kids
threat
for not
that-
listening to their parents.
Other than that, I don't think I have any worst nominees outside of plans. Everyone was just a bit stupid other than bad in this. So I have a product placement, but I'm assuming Andy does as well. Best product placement, Andy.
I got Land Rover.
I went Jurassic Park. But,
Yeah.
Land Rover makes far more sense because it's an
There was a Land Rover logo, but then I was actually thinking African safaris. But yeah, Land Rover was a logo.
Safaris themselves. It's maybe not a great advert for safaris when you think about it.
I would go.
But yeah, Land Rover's the winner. I didn't think to look there. That's a good shout. I think I'll do us for nominees then. Quite a few for not having a lot. Point 9 on the podcast is the moral of the story. What lesson were we supposed to learn from Beast? I'll stick with my same thing I've said the whole way through. Why don't go in the middle of nowhere in the African bush? Just don't go there. Is the moral of the story. Andy, what's yours?
Lions are scared of snakes. Who knew?
Oh,
He
I
didn't
forgot
like it,
about
did he?
that.
He did not like it.
He shot himself.
He did. And Chris, what's your moral of the story?
Poaching's wrong.
Treating's
Yes.
wrong. And you will pay.
Yeah.
I've just had a genius idea on a lion defense here now. Right. You know how sometimes if you get into a fight and you got to be a nutter and you just like kind of get naked and drop trout.
Right.
Maybe if you do it to a lion and he thinks it's a snake, he's gonna fucking run away.
He'll run
it's
for the
only going to work
hills.
for the males of the human race here, but still.
It would maybe work for some better than others as well, I'm sure. And cold weather conditions might struggle.
I mean, if a lion's coming for me, I might just try it now. Just
At that point, yeah. I have no way else out of this. There's no way I can escape.
It's just like, how did he die? Well, for some reason his trousers were down and a lion mauled him. So was he trying to do interspecies erotica? Who knows?
A lion show.
Well, this podcast can just prove that it's like, oh wait, actually, he was getting attacked and he thought a snake would scare us.
We've given them an excuse now.
Well, you're gonna do like standing like fucking get back.
Just watch the lion just go, what the fuck's going on?
Not scared yet. He's getting closer. He's not scared yet. He's getting closer. He's not scared yet. Okay, before we go too far down that route, 10 points on the Temple Podcast is the 10-point rating where we rate the film out of 10. I've gone alphabetically as we do with the wheel, so Andy, you get to go first.
Well, it wasn't as shit as I thought it was going to be, which is always a good start. It wasn't as great as it should have been, and as I say, this film's been done to death about 1,000,001 times, as Bruce always likes to say that there's always a film that does it better.
Always a film does it better.
But it was all right, but it only scrapes a 5, and I mean scrapes a 5.
I mean, I'm probably the same as you, Andy. I think it's not long enough to bore me, so I think it stays 5 solidly for me because it's not too long. It does exactly what it needed to, and it ends. I thought it wants to be Jaws, but it's a lion. But I had in my notes, it's a bit more like John Wick with a lion, because that lion he's justified in doing. It's not as good as either of those, but actually it's falling down with a lion is what it is, because a lion just snaps and takes everyone. It's a 5 for me as well, because it's fine. I will probably never watch it again, but I know what it is, and it's not the worst thing in the world. Chris, what about you?
I'm pretty much the same as you, Spear. Like, I'm a big advocate for like the one shots. I really like that. The CGI for the lions was pretty good. It's just I couldn't give a shit about all that backstory and stuff. It just you're waiting for the lion and all this stuff just fucking drops it for me. I think the runtime helps it, but be like an hour and a half as well. It's not too long, so I'm used to it. 5.
A 5, a perfect 5.
We got many perfect 5s.
Too many. Well, I think 5 must be one of the scores that we do kind of. We all know what a 5 out of 10 is, and we all we hit the middle quite a bit there. So 5 out of 10 for Beast, fair, I would say. It was the wheel that picked, so there's no theme going here. Maybe animals. I don't know. We'll find out. There's not an awful lot that this film could tie with.
Still, subtitles is the issue we're running into every film.
Yeah, every film this season has needed subtitles one way or another, I think. So
don't worry, I can change that.
Good, because it is Andy's pick next time. Andy, off podcast, said that he basically broke himself earlier on when he had picked the film that he was going to pick this week, which has me worried, and I'm hoping that he has stuck with that.
I have stuck with it. Right. This podcast, we need a change up. So I've had to shuffle some stuff around. This could be the film that gets this could cancel us.
God.
I'm thinking of one of 2 films that's coming to mind here.
So it is from 2005. Comedy sports film.
Oh, I know
starring Johnny Knoxville, The Ringer.
The Ringer.
I haven't seen that for ages.
There's a film out in the cinema at the moment that the poster looks like the poster from The Ringer. And I can't remember who the main star is. Woody Harrelson coaching a bunch of kids.
Right.
And the actors, I think, are all disabled actors. And it made me think of The Ringer. And that was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago when I was at cinema. So this was already in my mind. The Ringer!
Yeah, this film was just... I had fond memories of it. I really enjoyed it. And I think it's going to be a great film for us to tiptoe over.
2005 is probably the middle, not even the end, the middle where you were allowed to not be PC, I think.
And I feel like we need to bring it back because there's too many snowflakes these days, and this podcast is going to bring it back.
I was just thinking about this other week, actually, because I had it on DVD and I've lost it somewhere.
There you go.
You
The
gotta dig
Ringer,
out.
the mid-2000s comedy, back when comedy was king back in those days. The Ringer starring Johnny Knoxville. That is your film for next week. So have a look for that. Get your DVDs out, and we'll see you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.